Welcome into DC On Screen, episode 396. We're about to get super spoilery on Supergirl 2x22. Nevertheless, she persisted, the season finale of season 2. I'm your host, David C. Robertson. This, my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello.
Alrighty, so to recap, after kicking Superman's butt and getting him back on the right team, Supergirl challenges Rhea to a battle for Earth. Lillian, Lena, and Winn team up to make a lead-dispersing backup plan. After getting some Cat Grant pick-me-up advice, Supergirl heads to the fight while the Martians defend the city. She starts to lose when it is revealed that Rhea's blood is Kryptonite-soaked, so Supergirl says a tearful goodbye to Mon-El before killing all the other Daxamites and shipping him off to who knows where. He gets hijacked, and it turns out Kat knew who Kara was the whole time. Alright, so, I am happy.
I forgot to include in that. I should have mentioned Alex and Maggie get engaged.
Yeah.
That was,
so, first off, I'm glad that I was a little worried knowing that General Zod was around, just because I was worried that they were going to shoehorn another villain in to the last episode.
Yeah, I was actually happier to see the hallucinogenic version of him, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
But that fight looked great.
Too. Fight looked great. For just a second there, I thought they were going to pull a Man of Steel and he was going to start to go break his neck. And I was like, no, that didn't work out well the last time.
Have you learned nothing?
Have you learned nothing?
Yeah. The fight looked really fantastic. I mean, they were just throwing haymakers at some point, and it played well on screen. It looked pretty fantastic, and it was cool to set up what they do with Superman later.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he straight up admits later, like, no, I was at full strength. You beat me.
Which is weird for me, because it kind of, like, one of the reasons that Superman has never been the most interesting character to me in his own shows is because he pretty much is the strongest, he's the champion of Earth. He's the strongest person ever. I mean, I kind of like Kara being more vulnerable. Like, she was more interesting to me that way.
Yeah.
And, now that we know that every ill-advised instinct she has is right, thanks Cat Grant, what does this make her, a god? I don't... I kind of, and look, I mean, yes, she's been training with the DEO, but then, he's got to show her some moves because he learned some stuff on Warworld. Let's not forget.
That
he has
was a great little reference, too.
A friend of me in Batman, who's assuredly
probably
taught him some stuff.
I mean, on the same level, could probably beat both of them combined if he had what they had.
Yeah. And, in iterations, there are versions. Look, I'm not upset necessarily with Superman getting bested by, anybody necessarily. I just feel like it may not have been overall the best call. I mean, for the purposes of the show, if you say, we have to have the champion of Earth, get into it with Rhea, it has to be the champion of Earth, well then sure. But, I think she would have accepted it from Kara anyway, just because she doesn't like her. Well, it needs to be her show, but at the same time...
I did gather, though, that, they dovetailed it a little bit, where, she is now officially the champion of Earth, but it would have been Rhea anyway. But apparently that's part of the, what did they call it? The Daxamore. I think that's part of the myth of that procedure, is what I gathered from it. Yeah. It's like it has to be the champion of that planet that does that. And if there was any back and forth, I'm guessing there's probably like a playoff round where Supergirl and Superman had to fight anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So like somebody has to, without dispute, come out and say I'm the representative here.
Yeah,
it's just what I gathered from it. I'm not sure if that's right, but
yeah. And there's a little bit to be said for this. I mean, in other iterations where he says, you're stronger than I am because I may have chosen Lois over the world.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen what happens when Lois gets taken out, and the world is not a happy place.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to accept that on that front too.
That was the stronger one for me. Like him getting his ass kicked is one thing, but his speech later about and he says, "I'm humbled by you. Like I could have done it. Like if he had to give up Lois, he wasn't sure he could have done it." And like that I liked more because it was the show was using character development to make this very strong point about why the show is Supergirl and not Superman, even though we brought him in this year. That I thought was pretty cool. I was also just okay with the fact that it was a fight. She's maybe a little better trained than he is right now. Mm-hmm. And they should have pretty equal powers.
Yeah,
And, the fact is, like, it's like when two teams play and they're very well matched and like, somebody wins and then afterward, the commentators will tell you, like, man, it was a great game. I mean, it was fun to watch. I'm glad so-and-so won. I just feel like it's two teams where if they played 10 times, each of them would have won 5. Yeah. I'm perfectly happy with the idea that, like, in some version of this, just she didn't get the right hit in at the right time, and she didn't actually win.
Yeah,
and things got probably pretty messed up. I'm good with that,
but I think they were just trying to make a point.
Yeah, I mean,
they fell kind of flat to me, and also maybe took away the character's physical vulnerability that was probably more integral to the show than they.
Well, it didn't though. I mean, like by the end of the show, she's still got her physical vulnerability with the kryptonite. Well,
yeah, but
and I would.
Which that was terrible. I mean, all of that.
It was bad.
Like that was just ridiculous.
It was just like a weird turn, and I'm just let me just say I'm happy Rhea's gone because everything that happened once she entered the show got strange, and I'm sorry, man. I liked Terry Hatcher. I don't know whose fault this is, but everything about Rhea was a wrong turn for me.
What's weird is she was actually kind of a good actress when she was playing human.
Yeah.
Hanging out with
I
Lena.
just watched her. My wife is she ran out of shows, so she's been kind of like idly watching The Odd Couple, like the new Odd Couple in the background. Mm-hmm. And Matthew Perry's love interest right now is Terry Hatcher.
Yeah.
And so I walked into the room, I swear to God, I walked into the room and saw her and went, oh, fuck, I just got rid of her. But, I sat there for a couple minutes and then I walked in and out of the room a few times and caught enough to see, like, it's not her. Like, she's a good actress. It just, that character was a non-start. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and as far to wrap up the thing with the strength, who's stronger, my issues with it, you and I talked briefly about it, and I was like, well, how, because something bothered me about it, and I couldn't figure it out, place my finger on it, and we talked about it, and you were like, well, I was like, is there really any canon source that would that really play out like that? Now, I mean, I kind of think Superman should have maybe been a little stronger because he's been absorbing more sun. I don't think age would be an issue right now. He's been here several years longer than Kara.
This is complete headcanon, but it's possible. And they have, well, it's not even headcanon. They have done it in the books where, like, you can absorb too much. Like All-Star Superman. You absorb too much sun, and then there's a problem.
Absolutely.
So, like, there is a possibility that there's, like, you absorb 100% of the sun that your body can take, period. And maybe Supergirl's at the same point. She's been around for a while. Like, maybe she is at that point. Where they're equally solar fueled,
Yeah. But, I mean, I had to look back. I had to, like, really soul search and think, maybe I am a sexist piece of crap. But then I thought...
We do that all the time. You know what? That's what it's like these days.
But then, I looked at it and I was like, well, no, maybe it's, it can't be that, technically she shouldn't be able to beat him because I love when Batman beats Superman and think he absolutely can do it every time. Then I went, okay, well, Wonder Woman's beating him and I didn't have a problem with it. And the more I think about it, I really think that Supergirl just hasn't earned it yet. She's been kind of a jerk most of this season. And she hasn't been Supergirl long enough.
They didn't give her a great arc. Like, as far as whether it's canonically supported, I mean, you can go back to Crisis, and like she's the one who takes out Anna Monitor.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like, it's not completely unsubstantiated or unprecedented. It's just that
Superman loosened it for her. No,
his A got beat. That's what happened.
One of these shows did that joke recently. Well, which one was it? Where it was, they went to go open the door, like, oh, we're having blow the door or whatever. He tried to get in, then a woman did it, and he was like, well, I loosened it for you. What was that?
Oh, God, I can't remember. I want to say The Flash.
Oh, nope. It wasn't one of these shows. It was the trailer for that, it wasn't a woman either. It was that trailer for,
it was the Star Trek trailer.
Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, the Seth MacFarlane thing.
Orville.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
Well, glad we worked that out.
Yeah. Phew. By the
Glad
way,
the show's holding together.
Where the hell was Lena? I missed Lena. I feel like there should have been more Lena this episode.
You're going to get plenty of Lena next year. Don't fret. She is a series regular now.
But yeah, I am worried though that maybe it'll be good. Maybe they'll do a course correct, because honestly, I don't feel like Supergirl earned anything.
They did a little bit of a course correct in the last couple episodes with just her talking to Cat Grant. I think
I don't.
I really do think that, like, in the last couple episodes, she got to a point where, like, her giving up Mon-El, which is
that was the first good night. That was the first legitimately heroic thing I've seen her really do
in a while, right?
On an emotional level.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it was good to have Superman pointed out. But by the way, man, I mean, I felt I felt bad. Like, Mon-El, I hate to see him go. His line about, like, I promise I'm going to be the man that you thought I could be. I whimpered a little bit. Like, I love you. I should have said it before. I'm going to say those two killed it in that scene.
Well, okay.
I thought they really brought it during that scene.
She did what she could with Melissa Benoist did a really good job. She did what she could with what they gave her. But, you know, he's saying all this stuff about, like, you made me a better man, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And her arc this season is, I wanted a boyfriend. And then she whines about it afterward. Like, I just thought maybe I could have that too. But I'm like, you could have had that at the beginning of the season. But for whatever reason, because they needed the Mon-El storyline, you shit on James.
Yeah, we haven't picked up the James story at all again. That may be in the cards again next season. It kind of leaves the door open.
Where was James as Guardian fighting these? I don't.
That part bothered me. Like, Guardian was just kind of absent this episode. I felt like they probably just didn't have the budget. Honest to God, I think they didn't have the budget to have Guardian in here.
They have the budget to bring in a bunch of damn white Martians, but not Guardian. Screw that.
No, that's exactly my point.
They needed to tie. You saying they needed to tie up the Martian storyline?
Well, I'm saying they did tie up the Martian story, and they did tie up M'gann, and that actually was kind of worth it. Like, that actually played out for me. I was happy to see it. Yeah, that was fine. And it was good to see that there's kind of like a resistance in the White Martian community. Yeah. That was cool, and I just like it for Jean. However you're supposed to. I get that wrong all the time, but, like, I liked it for John, that, like, he maybe has a chance at this now. Mm-hmm. Like, can maybe actually find somebody that's a little like him. Like, that was a rewarding part of the story for me. But it was, between that and all the Superman Supergirl fights and all the ships going down, I just maybe think they couldn't afford Guardian this episode. And maybe to be fair, he got a great episode in City of Lost Children. Like, he did. The character got, I don't know. I was hoping I'd see him here, sure, but he did get a lot of credit there, and I think they're just going to come back next year with a different costume for him and see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like part of episode 1, him running around in a different yellow and blue costume. I mean, I'd be fine with the yellow and blue. I would have been all right if they... See, that was one of my problems, though, is like last week we saw him as Guardian show up again, and at City of Lost Children, I was going like, well, I thought he was kind of hanging that up. Like, it looked like he was sort of like, I don't know about this, and... Well, he's bothered by it, but you didn't get the idea that he was going to, like, hang up the idea that he could go really fight crime when he had to. I mean, yeah, kind of. I don't know. I don't know. It would have just made more sense if they cut him out of that the interim episode, so that's why he's not here. Yeah. But that's just my own thoughts. Obviously. I laughed when Cat Grant said, "This is worse than Myriad." I'm like, wow, you guys are really trying to convince us that this is... Oh, her little line about fake news cracked me up too. What was that one? I didn't even write that down. Oh, I don't think I wrote it down either. I don't see it anywhere in my notes. I just she had some line like over her shoulder back when she was at her Cat Grant desk. It was like something was happening behind her, and she's like, "Oh, fake news, screw that." Mm-hmm. Okay. It feels right for this show, which is probably one of the more liberal-leaning shows on the television waves at the moment, to use the phrase "fake news." How come? I shouldn't need to go into that. It's pretty obvious.
I know. I just want to be a dick.
I'm gonna leave that where it is. We do a show about fantasy. I'm only gonna flirt with reality. I keep it open that anyone who wants to privately message me and talk is welcome to.
Well, I will say that there's a whole lot of fake news out there on every spectrum.
Oh no, I did find it. Lillian claims victory for the Daxamite thing. I did write that down.
Mm-hmm.
I did write down what she was talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So let's see what else we got. All right.
Great little shout out from Kat about I turned down Rob Lowe twice actually.
Uh-huh.
I just kind of chuckled when she said that, but then according to my wife, she's like, "No, seriously, Callista Flockhart turned Rob Lowe down twice." Oh, that's fantastic.
That's great. I didn't know that.
I don't know if it's true or not, but my wife's a smart girl. She's probably right.
Yeah. So okay.
I don't bother fact checking her.
No. I understand that everyone was like in an emotional high and that a lot of, serious stuff had gone down. It's way too soon for Alex and Maggie to get married.
I agree on a relationship level. It's just,
a few weeks ago, like Maggie was freaking out because she didn't want to have Valentine's Day.
Yeah. It's,
and then after that, they were freaking out about exes and stuff.
It's a little soon. And they started her arc with like, Maggie was really, she was reticent because it was like Alex's first same-sex relationship. Mm-hmm. And that was a huge deal. And now we're getting to the, married part. But I gotta give him this though. A lot of couples go through a lot of things, but say over the course of 3 years, you go through X amount of emotional involvement. Mm-hmm. On this show, they've probably gone through that in 3 months.
All right.
Like they've probably been through more in the time they've been on screen than a lot of couples go through in years before they decide to get married.
Well, look, I accept the fact that Bethany and I have been together for 9 years and we haven't gotten married. So maybe.
Me and my wife dated on and off for like 13 years before we got married.
You and I may be overly cautious.
I'm willing to admit it's possible.
Oh,
I like being even overly cautious about that sentence.
So yeah, I kind of feel like this season has been pretty uneven.
Yeah, it was the first half I thought was pretty damn great, to be honest, and second half was just so weird and not the show that I fell in love with. And then parts of this finale were kind of back to form.
Yeah, I felt like there was what bothered me. I kept thinking they were going to do this, especially as she was becoming more of a jerk. The whole looking before she leaps thing where like Supergirl kept like doing things because she's Supergirl
arrogant.
And she can do the thing.
Yeah.
She's being arrogant, she's being naive, and at the same time she's learning as a reporter. Snapper's trying to convince her, like, there's this through line of learning to be a reporter, searching for the truth rather than confirmation bias, with reckless actions as Supergirl or as a reporter, and how that could have merged with the Supergirl storyline as like looking for the truth, figuring out what you should do.
No, those end up being like
with your heart.
Those end up being kind of dissonant themes where they could have been this wonderful synergetic, copacetic kind of thing.
And then they just left them on opposite sides of a house somewhere.
Yeah, like they wrapped up his story a while back with whatever that little line was he had for her. But he's finally proud of her for a second because she chased the story she thought she should have chased, and he's finally proud of her. But like that's something where like they could have used that and used his influence on her, and even brought that in with Kat's previous influence, and made that all kind of that could have gelled into something pretty beautiful as far as like turning her around and even letting her have this slump where she's not really very Supergirly for a few episodes.
Yeah. Oh gosh, you know how they should have disclosed that Kat knows They should have had her just, like, watch Kara leave. And then, like, Snapper just comes in and goes, hey, so you know that Supergirl is, Kara Danvers? Yeah, okay, cool. And they both just...
That would have made me happy. They both go they both like shoulder point towards the bar and go start pouring a drink real quick. You know? Yeah, that would have made me pretty happy. But I gotta admit, I've got to admit, Cat Grant saying "Go get him, Supergirl" was like a little bit of a throat tightening kind of moment for me. Like finally confirming that the whole time she's been advising Kara and advising Supergirl that she's known she was talking to two sides of a person. I really do love that.
Yeah. Oh man, or she could have just said, "Go get him, Supergirl," and then you hear what, and it pans over and it's Snapper, and he's like, he just walked in at the wrong time.
He's just got like a pastry and coffee. What? Oh. No, and it really was. It was good. I was so happy to have Callista back because you had some great moments with her in general. Like she had some great pep talks, like she always does. We've
I felt like she was more in line.
Generally loved a lot of Cat Grant speeches, but specifically the line like I read your articles, you my dear, are on a hero's journey.
Yeah,
That was a good line, and then later when she confirms like go get him, Supergirl, I kind of I was all girl power for a second. That was
I was all character power, Jason, because I'm for equality. Speaking of that, we got some feedback, and we'll get into some other stuff in the finale here in a second. We got some feedback from Anthony on Snapchat. Sent me a message. He wrote, "Hi David, hi Jason.
Hello.
I'm Anthony, and I love that you guys are doing voicemails now. One day, I may be brave enough to send one, but I hate my voice, and I am scared for your hundreds of thousands of listeners to hear it." Oh man, come on.
I gotta be honest.
It ain't like that.
We were too.
Well, hundreds of thousands also. I wouldn't go that far.
Also a bit of an exaggeration.
I've been listening since...
can I tell him this, though, real quick?
All right, sure.
John Lennon hated his voice up until the last second. He hated hearing his own recordings of his voice. That's why there's so many effects on him.
Did not know that.
Jimi Hendrix, when he recorded vocals, used to do it behind cardboard. Like, there's that piece of...
As well he should have. I hated Jimi Hendrix.
But he hated his voice so much that he wouldn't watch anyone... He wouldn't let anyone watch him do the vocals, so he put up cardboard between. There are a lot of people that hate their voice, and we're all inaccurate about ourselves sometimes.
I want to go back and say Jimi Hendrix was a great guitar player.
Don't
like his voice, though.
Yeah.
Didn't like his voice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
as it said, Stevie Ray Vaughan could sing him under a table.
Yeah. Anthony continues. I've been listening since, I don't know, probably one of the DC movies that didn't happen, like forever ago. I just remember something about Batman in space and Robin singing to nurses or something, but anyway.
That was a magical time.
That was number 3. I wanted to say hello. And I love the show, but last week's Supergirl show was rough. I think David was right. That Cat was a little out of place and a little too diva and seemed to really just subvert everything Alex and Maggie and everybody has been telling Kara about calming the F down. Actually wrote EFF about calming the F down Miss Thing. And you guys even carried it over to TV news. Y'all need to take a breath and let each other finish a sentence. I'm looking at you, Jason. You've interrupted me like 4 times while I was reading this feedback.
Oh, no.
And be cool with different opinions, okay? Please don't hate me. I love y'all. Also, y'all talk about y'all's women, but y'all getting uppity with each other like y'all married lately. What's up with that? Do your girls know? All right. Y'all keep some DC on your screen. Parentheses, please don't hate me.
I don't want to interrupt you.
He also wrote, I hope that wormhole means they're bringing Mon-El back. He was a fine piece of ass, and I like a man with a sense of humor.
I'm comfortable enough to agree with him on this on that last little PS.
Me too.
Why
do you think we're doing the show together?
I wouldn't want to interrupt
piece of ass and You have a fine sense of humor.
But we do talk about our girls a lot.
We do.
And yes, both of the women that we are involved with have referred to either me or Dave as your boyfriend at some point or the other.
Yeah.
That's and I can do that unflinchingly. I really don't give a shit. Just don't care. As far as interrupting, I accept that I do that, and sorry.
He won't stop.
I really won't. I really won't. I will hop in when I have a thought. I just can't. And Dave, you know my memory well enough to know that, like, if I didn't hop in when I had a thought, I might not ever have thought.
That might be true.
Or like for me, I really have to dig in.
I've never seen it in action. I couldn't tell you.
I really have to dig in and.
I'm kidding. Yeah, you do that.
Me too. I'm really like for somebody who's only 32, my memory is spotty, but I'm also extremely ADD. So I can go in 5 places simultaneously and not know what 6 of them are. Mm-hmm. It's part of why I kind of interject here and there.
Yeah, but dude, thanks for agreeing with me anyway, and thanks for loving the show. And that was a fantastic episode of our show, if I do say so myself. The Batman in Space. That's actually DC movies that didn't happen part 3, and we did that way back in 2015.
I really liked the DC movies series. I'll call it. That was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. That's the happiest I've ever been caught on record.
You know, and that was back in the day when we actually put the news before whatever we were talking about. I've actually considered, and let me know, guys, and I'll bring it up on the news episode over the summer if you guys want me to do a repost with just all 3 of them together without the news that we did that day.
My vote would be it might be worth it to just do the DC that never happened. And we found a couple more. We might need to we might be able to have an addendum.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, jumping back to what Anthony was saying. I think that wormhole absolutely means that they're going to bring Mon-El back. Now, if you go back to the comics, there are a lot of different backstories for Mon-El. You got Valor and Largand and all these other things. I think that's what it's called, Largand. But there's a whole bunch of them. But usually he winds up with the Legionnaires. In the future, they've been teasing that a lot, and in the comics, in various ways, the Legionnaires wound up. He always gets lead poisoning, and they always fix him, whether it be temporarily or through taking some sort of medication. So I think Mon-El will be back, and he'll be back with the Legion.
I think it's the most implied theory so far. Mm-hmm. I mean, that ring has not been justified so far within the Arrowverse.
No.
I really don't think we've gotten what we should have out of it. That little glimpse of it, Mm-hmm. And yeah, I would love that to be where it comes from. I'd love that to be where it goes. It'd be fantastic. I would love to be watching Supergirl episode 305. Mm-hmm. The Legionnaires,
I'm down. Or, you know what? I would be down for them to be the
crossover event.
Yeah, the crossover event.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
All right.
That idea was so juicy that I just caught on before.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm down.
I did love the end when Supergirl flies away and she's really emotional and sad and flying up. Yeah, that was all great.
Benoist has done a great job.
She does a good job.
I don't think there's a moment where I would have said, "Oh, you failed this show,"
Mm-hmm. You have failed this show.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of which, they mentioned Star City.
Yeah.
Rhea mentioned going to Star City, and that was fun.
Yeah.
I liked that. I liked that Mon-El let his mom die. I was like, damn, dude. Like, I mean, what were you gonna do? But damn.
I mean, it was the right thing. It was the right thing to do at that point.
Mm-hmm. So, going to the last bit here, and there are some other lines that I'll throw out there and talk about that I enjoyed, but the end, the 35 years ago, the death of Krypton, looks like a Kryptonian cult sending a baby, or did they refer to it? They said it will grow strong on Earth. It will rain.
My first thought was Doomsday.
That was, my first thought, but I think they're actually gonna do, like, I remembered there's actually a character called Rain, and it was a world killer. It was sent by Kryptonian scientists. They think Doomsday may have been one of them. They search worlds and whatnot, looking for others, and they think that it's been implied in the books that Doomsday was part of that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a female character. It's a female villain named Reign, Reign. It is a Supergirl villain, directly from the books, and she does look like Doomsday a fair amount. They're called world killers, and I think that's probably what that's gonna be.
No, the way you describe it, I'd get on board with that theory.
Yeah, it's so kind of a cool.
The reason I thought of Doomsday obviously was because the it will grow stronger kind of implications.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's like the idea basically in the books was that these
throw it in the middle of the sun over and over again and see what happens.
Yeah, like these Kryptonian scientists actually took babies from other worlds, so the world killers kind of searched the galaxy looking for the worlds they came from. It's pretty interesting.
Nice.
It's an interesting take on it. I think that's probably what they're going to do with it. I would hope,
Yeah, I'll get behind you.
So, of course, it seemed gender neutral. It will grow strong on Earth is how they put it. But
Yeah, no point right now. Just leave it open. Let people speculate over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if it is scientists, they would refer to it as an it. They wouldn't give a damn what gender it was. That is not going to be relevant in the foreseeable future.
A thing I hated Superman saying it's time and Supergirl doing a cheesy head nod. I never liked that cheesy head nod. And that's like one of those big things that Melissa would always do that I wish I could take her. So I'd be like, never do that cheesy head nod again. You look like a 5-year-old on Full House. Stop doing the cheesy head nod.
I know. That's better than Grant Gustin's head bobble, though.
No, they're both terrible.
Yeah, but you see one more than the other. I really love Grant Gustin. It's something
I saw
like
the head.
Once you notice the head bobble, you can't not notice the head bobble.
Yeah, I saw the head nod more than the head bobble until that damn Honest Trailers made me see the head
Honest
bobble.
Trailers
and now I see it all the time.
Is damning, is what it is.
Mm-hmm. I hated Mon-El saying sorry, not sorry to killing those Daxamites.
Oh, I actually chuckled at that. He was learning. He was learning more phrases. I always liked the alien nature of him.
Yeah. Clark Barr actually made me laugh from Cat to Clark.
Clark Barr was good.
That actually brings up a good point. If Clark and Kara are cousins, does she know that Clark is Superman? I think that has to be a yes.
Probably, yeah. I mean, like she messes with him too. Like once again, Kansas, you're the only one that really gets me.
Mm-hmm.
I would extrapolate that she knows who he is.
Winn hugging Martian Manhunter. I can't remember his name for some reason right now. What is his name?
John Jones?
Hey Kinshaw.
Hey Kinshaw.
Whatever his name is.
That guy.
Whatever they call him. And he says, "Hey, Papa Bear." That made me laugh.
Oh, Papa Bear did make me laugh pretty hard, yeah.
Him whispering or mouthing to Superman, "I love you," made me laugh.
Oh, I was taken earlier when Winn tries to introduce himself. I'm sure you don't remember. He's like, "No, Winn shot. You're great with tech." Like, and Winn.
Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, and like Winn just has this like, I'm gonna weep kind of like.
Yeah.
You can tell he just wants to fall on the ground and just cry a bit, like a joyful cry.
It's great stuff.
Just a joyful cry.
It's great stuff. So last thing I'll bitch about, I promise. And I've bitched about it before. I will continue to probably. He comes out of the coma, goes directly into Hank Henshaw. It's so bad sometimes with that I kind of wish they've dumbed down his powers to the point that I kind of wish he was not on the show.
I can still deal with it. We're still getting a taste of a character that I really love, and it's close enough that I'm not too peeved about it. And I understand, I understand why they have to go back to him being Hank Henshaw sometimes. Like it just,
I don't mind.
It's
sometimes.
cost effective.
I mean, like I know. I understand that, but I kind of just wish they didn't do... they should have had him be like, I have to go help McGann, blah. And then, like, have Alex take over. This is, girl power show. Have Alex take over. Let him go help McGann.
Yeah.
I love the actor. I love David Harewood, though. But they should focus more... If they can keep him on the show if they focus on him being Cyborg Superman and let him be a bad guy. And that fixes things, doesn't it? Have David Harewood show up for like big events, like to come help out. That way he won't have to like keep morphing back and forth.
No, that costs a ton. Really does. That's a lot of CGI. Like even every part of Martian when he's in either form is just full CGI.
Well, that. Look, man, I'm a Star Trek guy. They could have done that in practical effects. And he didn't have to be that tall. In fact, they've retconned that. But he's a shapeshifter. Like, why does he have... Like, his normal Martian Manhunter form anyway is supposed to be an affectation. Like, it's an adaptation.
He's really this gangly, weird, spidery looking thing. And then he's got this, like, middle ground form that he likes.
Sci-fi shows have been doing, like, head bumps for years. I mean, we can do this, guys. I mean...
I don't think the CW can afford mocap for a show that's getting 3 million viewers. I just don't think they can do it.
Maybe they'd get more if they learned how to be practical.
It's possible. But I think I understand how the decision got made, at least.
I would like to see numbers. I don't want to be a dick. I understand it's cost effective to have him as Hank Henshaw. I'm just saying.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing a budget myself. I'm a big fan of looking at a P&L sheet. That's weird joy in my life. But
I'm just saying, if he went away for the season as Hank, they put Alex in charge of the DEO, then he comes back every once in a while to help out with something. You still have your Martian Manhunter. You still have David Harewood if he's doing Cyborg Superman from time to time. Maybe he reforms something. You just do something where he's around. I don't know.
Well,
it doesn't matter.
Honestly, Cyborg Hank is a lot cheaper, though. You just strap that weird thing to his face and move on with your day.
I know.
Yeah, I just... Harewood's such a big part of the show. He's such a part of the heart of the show. I'm willing to sacrifice the weirdness of when he chooses to be Martian form for what he brings to the show. It works for me. I don't disagree that there's a discrepancy. I just am willing to accept what's happening.
Yeah. Anyway, that's gonna be it. I think.
Yeah, I'm good.
I hate to leave on a sour note, but it was an uneven season and we have some issues, but I pretty much
actually it's perfect. It was an uneven season and we leave on an uneven issue.
We are DC.
Couldn't have planned it if we tried.
Which we didn't, because we don't plan anything.
We don't plan shit.
Professional, y'all. We are DC On Screen. You can find every episode at DCOnScreen.com. Catch up with us on Twitter, DC On Screen, Facebook, DC On Screen, Instagram, DC On Screen, email, DCOnScreen@gmail.com, or you can call us at 205-259-6331. Leave us a voicemail. We will play it on the show. And we are coming right back with the Flash 323 finish line, season finale of The Flash. And we'll be talking about that. So until then, keep some DC on your screen.